A woman is a person who lives a lifestyle aligned with feminine characteristics, not necessarily your chromosomes or your genitals.
So someone who just wears a dress. So what you are doing is you are reducing womanhood to a costume.
Guys, this gender ideology we have plaguing our country, it's just insane. It's bonkers. With the left, man is woman, woman is man, or, you know, Z's him. I don't even know anymore. It's hard to keep track. Up is down, left is right. None of it makes sense anymore. Thankfully, we've got conservative American patriots like Charlie Kirk to come in and tell us how it is. So we're going to see a great video clip with that. But first, guys, please make sure you like our video, comment, and subscribe to the Resist the Mainstream YouTube channel. I'm your host, Arian. Let's get into the video.
So my question is about what you said earlier about Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson's qualifications for the Supreme Court, and how you mentioned that she was unable to define what a woman is, and I'd like to compare that to Justice Barrett. So Justice Jackson went to a public high school, attended an Ivy League law school, clerked for the Supreme Court, was a public defender, served on the Sentencing Commission, was a district judge, and served on the Court of Appeals. And as for Justice...
Just got to say real quick, that's really unfortunate that she's done that much in the legal system and she's now Supreme Court Justice. Oof.
She was a Supreme Court clerk, and she also sat in the Court of Appeals. And when she was being questioned by the Senate during her confirmation, she was asked to name the freedoms of the First Amendment, which she struggled with. So my question is, what makes Justice Justice...
Real quick, really disingenuous framing by that kid there, saying that she struggled to name the rights of the First Amendment. She listed 4 out of 5 and then came up blank on the last one. She being Amy Coney Barrett, the justice. And she had a notepad that was completely blank. In other words, there were no notes that whole time. So that was one moment of all the things in the hours-long hearing that Amy Coney Barrett had. She struggled to name 1 out of 5 freedoms in that amendment. Disingenuous framing, that's all I'll say. And much like this kid mentioning it, the media had a field day with it. Surprise, surprise.
Barrett more qualified than Justice Brown.
So first of all, what does your shirt say? I can't see that.
Trump 24 years in prison.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, got it. But we could talk about that in a second. I was like seeing double. I was like, are you a Trump fan or not? Because, yeah, obviously not. Yeah, I mean, by the way, how is Ketanji Brown Jackson's Ivy League credentials impressive if she got in with affirmative action? Why is that impressive? And by the way, Amy Coney Barrett did her entire hearing without a shred of notes in front of her. You remember that? She had nothing but a notepad, all from memory. Ketanji Brown Jackson, I will just ask you, do you think it's important that one of the 9 people determining the most important interpretation of our laws knows what a woman is?
Well,
I don't know.
right. Well, my counter to that is that we shouldn't really be seeing the world in black and white. And a woman it's more than what meets the eye for a definition.
No, it's not. No, we should see the world through male and female. Yeah.
Why?
Definitely. Well, why? Because I live in reality, not in Narnia or some sort of weird created academic abstract space that doesn't exist.
So why shouldn't a person be socially welcome to identify with gender outside of the binary?
Well, anyone can pretend to be something they're not, but that doesn't make them the thing that they're not. Can I be black?
No.
Oh, but why can't I socially become black? Blackface, right? I can pretend, wear camouflage, masquerade as something that I'm not, right?
Fair question.
How's that different than a trans person?
Race and gender are 2 completely separate things. They have nothing to do with each other, and the existence of being transgender does not imply the existence of being transracial.
So you can pretend to say that you have ovaries when you don't, but you can't put makeup on to pretend to be a black person.
What transgender women are claiming to have ovaries?
There's lots of men that pretend to have ovaries. In fact, the CDC guidance says right now that men can chest feed. Do you think men can chest feed?
CDC, the so-called scientists who, by the way, were engineering our response to a certain outbreak, viral outbreak that must not be named lest we get censored on YouTube and by Google. They're saying that men can chest feed. That's the level of crazy we've gotten to here. It's bonkers. Also, and just to the point of the racial thing that the kid asked, like, Charlie's so ridiculous to bring it up. Oh, well, race and gender are two very different things. Yeah, obviously. Aside from being different, it's far less ridiculous for, say, a white man to claim he's black than it is for that same white man to claim he's a woman. I mean, at least you're still claiming you're the same gender at that point. It might be feasible to some degree. Maybe you've got some DNA. I don't know. But saying you're a different gender, we're never going to be able to bear children as men. Okay, I can't believe why am I saying this? That's like me saying the sky's blue, guys. Don't debate it. Obviously, you can't do that. So anyways, let's keep going.
That's not the sole criterion for being.
So let me ask you a question. What is a woman?
Chest feed.
A woman is someone who identifies as one.
Answer the question without saying the word woman.
Every time.
You can't say the word woman. That's called circular reasoning. It's like saying a tree is something that looks like a tree. So I'll ask again, what is a woman?
A woman is a person who lives a lifestyle aligned with feminine characteristics, not necessarily your chromosomes or your genitals.
So someone who just wears a dress. So what you are doing is you are reducing womanhood to a costume.
No.
Brutal.
So, are you suggesting that, like, a transgender woman goes about her day pretending to be a woman, but then when she gets home, she starts acting like a man?
No, delusional in every part of life. I understand that, but that doesn't mean they're not delusional. There's a series of mental conditions where you could pretend to be a wolf. Can you be trans species too? Does your own mental condition dictate external reality? Yes or no?
Not necessarily.
Okay, then why do you believe that a biological man can become something that he is not? Because he thinks it.
Because gender is not interchangeable with sex.
Yeah, right. So there are 0 genders. There are only 2 sexes. Gender is a made-up term that started in the academy in the 1960s. Talking about sex, which is the only thing that actually can be proven and that matters, X, 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 Y, I will ask the question again. Why is it that a man can suddenly become a dress and can be treated exactly the same as a woman that is biologically, not just biologically different, but somebody that has a different brain, a different hormonal system, menstruate, have children? I'll be very honest with you. It is so unbelievably insulting to women to have men have to lecture that all it takes is some weird dude with testosterone can put makeup on, wear a thong and a dress, and he suddenly becomes a woman. Here's at the essence of the issue, is that no matter how much surgery you do, no matter how many drugs you take, you don't stop being the thing that you were born. You don't get to determine your reality by a stroke of the will.
Amen.
I don't deny for a second that the trans person thinks that they are. Certain people think that they're younger than they are. Some people think they're taller than they are. Some people think they're richer than they are. Some people think they're innocent when they're not, like Bob Menendez. There's plenty of delusional people in this world. It's up for society to say no to the delusional and yes to reality. It is for us to not allow us to be reigned under the tyranny of somebody's imagination. Do you have a response? And then we'll wrap it up.
Uh-oh. I guess he doesn't have a response.
I'm not going to put you on the spot. I appreciate you being here tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, next question. And give it up for him. That's not easy to do at a conservative event. I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I think that was a gracious response by Charlie Kirk there to not put the kid on the spot after he kind of went quiet. Yeah, I like to think that that kid was probably thinking, maybe I need to reconsider some of these views. You know, he seemed like obviously he was a little clueless, and I say that with no disrespect intended, but perhaps that kid is, now that he's finally being exposed to a different view, because Lord knows he's not getting that view in his college classes, maybe he'll reconsider things. So that's cool. Going back real quick to something Charlie addressed with regards to gender and saying that it's essentially a fictitious nonsense concept. I thought that was great that Charlie pointed that out. Charlie mentioned that it largely emerged in the 60s. This is true. One of the people who really popularized the concept of gender and it being a separate entity from sex was John Money. Who was that? John Money was a professor at Johns Hopkins University, one of the revered elite good institutions. Everyone loves Johns Hopkins. Well, John Money developed his gender theory essentially by being a predator and a pervert. He experimented on children starting from when they were babies, one of whom he actually encouraged the parents of to have the kid's genitals completely removed and raise them as a woman. This is a true story. You can look it up. It's all online. He did this to argue that because the baby was raised as a female rather than a male, the baby was a male, gender is a real thing because it's based solely on social and cultural things. It's got nothing to do with sex. It's not innate. That was one of the great pioneers of gender theory. And that's why I refuse to use that term. It's ridiculous. Unless in the context of, pointing out how terrible it is, obviously. So that'll wrap it up for the video today. We really hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, please be sure to comment down below. Let us know what you liked, what you might want to see next, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks, and God bless.